Are you an established small business owner or aspiring entrepreneur? Would you like professional advice to help your business grow and succeed? Well, look no further. The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center is the territory's #1 resource to move your business forward. Enjoy no-cost advising, low-cost training, and technical assistance from experts in both the public and private sectors. The VISBDC is nationally accredited and sustained by the University of the Virgin Islands and the U.S. Small Business Administration. Visit us at our locations on St. Thomas, St. John, or St. Croix, and follow us on social media at VISBDC. For easy access to all our training and networking events, be sure to join our newsletter and download the VISBDC app. The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center, here to help your business start, grow, and succeed.
Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the VISBDC's hosting of SBA Federal Contracting Certifications. Today's session presents SBA resources for USVI entrepreneurs as they learn how to navigate the world of government contracting and secure lucrative deals. Participants will connect to the resources that prepare their business to engage with both the local and federal government. Compliments of SBA's Senior Area Manager, Wade Huddleston, allow me to formally introduce today's presenter. Eduardo Velez Torres is the Business Opportunity Specialist assigned to the PR and USVI District Office. He works within business development, particularly business firms looking to get certified under SBA's government contracting programs, including the 8A Business Development Program, Hub Zone Program, the Woman-Owned Small Business Program, and the Veteran-Owned Small Business Program. Before working at SBA, Eduardo worked with the Department of Defense in Virginia, with the Defense Contract Management Agency as a contract administrator. Prior to this, he was a senior contract manager for the Honeywell Aerospace. He also worked as a legal advisor for the government of Puerto Rico and is an attorney with experience in contract and civil matters litigation. At this time, Eduardo is going to begin to share his screen so we can see his PowerPoint. And that leads me to say, here's a friendly reminder to put your questions in the chat, and they will be addressed by the presenting team either directly in the chat or later during a question and answer segment. A copy of this presentation will be attached to the post-survey email sent after the live event. We encourage you to take a few minutes after this training to fill out that survey that lets us know how we're doing. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and I'll hand it over to you, Mr. Torres. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the invite. Can you hear me good?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Eduardo Vélez. I'm the Business Opportunity Specialist for Puerto Rico and the USVI. So, after we conclude the presentation, if you guys have any question or you want to follow up on some of the information that we share here today, please feel free to reach out to me. Will share my contact information once we finish. So, you guys are all here because you're interested in, either business development, government contracting, selling to the government, or getting certified with our government contracting programs. So let's try to get some information out today for you guys. We're going to try to cover government contracting, how the government buys, whether you sell goods or services, how you can market yourself to the government. We're going to talk a little bit about the difference between prime and subcontracting opportunities and how the government can help you obtain those benefits. So when we talk about a small business, there's a couple of things that we need to take into consideration. There is a table called the NAICS Industry Codes table. It stands for North American Industry Classification System. So this is basically a table that's going to contain a series of numbers, and it will establish, depending on what you sell, if you qualify to be a small business. Some of the qualifications are going to be established either by the total amount of employees that you're allowed to have at the end of the fiscal year, or when you add up the firm's annual receipts for the last 5 years. So, for example, if you do general construction, next code is going to be 236220, and the maximum amount of, once you add up your receipts for the company for the last 5 years, you cannot go above $39.5 million. If you're below that number for general construction, you're a small business for that amount. Remember, you can be a small business for a specific next code, but maybe for some of the others, you don't qualify. But it doesn't matter because, you're gonna see proposals sent out by the government, and you could be able to participate, on a variety of next codes that you have established on your SAN.gov profile. You can be a sole proprietorship, you can be a partnership, corporation, or any of the other legal forms allowed by the CFR. Your company needs to operate primarily within the United States. Um, if the company operates outside, you're not going to be qualified to get certified as a small business. Remember that uh, you can be self certified as a small business. If you want to participate in a government contract, you're not required to be certified, under as a small business. You're not required to be certified with SBA. Being certified with SBA allows you to participate in even more contracting opportunities. We're going to talk a little bit about the specific certifications soon, but please remember that you can go into SAM.gov and do a self certification as a small business. There's a couple categories: as a small disadvantaged business, as a minority, etc. And with those self certifications, you are able to participate in some um, contracting opportunities with the government. So the next industry codes define establishments based on the activities in which the firm is primarily engaged. These codes are also used for administrative, contracting, and tax purposes. SBA size standards using NAICS as their basis apply to all federal government programs, including procurement. You can see this information if you visit the U.S. Census Bureau next website. That's going to be www.census.gov/NAICS. Here you can identify your specific NAICS codes by performing a simple Control F search by keywords. We recommend using a single word for a search term. That way, you get more specific categories and you don't limit your search. So, some things to consider in evaluating if your business is ready and capable of fulfilling a government contract. You need to have systems in place to handle a government contract. Um, you need to have a proper accounting system. You need to have uh, either federal, state, or local government contracting experience. You need to know if you have cash flow available, regardless of whether it's in your pocket, your bank, or investments that you can convert to cash within 90 days. You need to determine if the government buys what you sell. And in this specific point, I want to point out that the federal government literally buys, everything from a paperclip to a nuclear submarine. So Within those ranges, you can see Nike's codes for construction, landscaping services, fuel, food services. So there's a ton of opportunities for small businesses to do uh, contract with the government. So just the first thing that we need to do is go into the Nike's codes table to find out if what you sell the government buys. The government is considered the world's largest buyer. It purchases by military and civilian installations last year amounted to nearly $700 billion. Government's procurement policy, which encourages prime and subcontracting opportunities for small businesses, is a catalyst for economic growth. Federal statute defines government-wide prime contracting goals, which represent a primary tool in helping small firms be considered for government contracts. When we talk about this, the current government-wide small business procurement goal is at least 23% of all federal contracting dollars. There's going to be a couple methods of limiting competition to win government contracts, including full and open competition, small business set-asides, and sole source opportunities. When you're certified with s- s- uh, either one of the SBA's government contracting programs, you're going to be able to participate in what's called a sole source contract opportunity. This means that you don't have to go through the whole process of a full and open competition. You don't have to, you know, put your proposal in a fight with those 10, 15, 20 other firms. If a contracting officer is doing his market research and identifies that you are able to perform the job that he's looking to fulfill, and if it's you know he follows the guidelines established in the CFR and everything's in order, he can literally reach out to you. He does that through us, SBA. He reaches out to the firm, and you can engage in a contract negotiation with that agency. In government purchasing, the process of requesting proposals, evaluating bids, and making awards should take place on a level playing field with full visibility. Small business set-asides are a powerful tool for helping small firms win federal prime contracts. Small business set-asides are influenced by the rule of two, the non-manufacturer rule, and the subcontracting limitations. Rule of two establishes that there must be at least two or more responsible small business concerns that are competitive in terms of market prices, quality, and delivery. Non-manufacturer rule establishes that an exception to the performance requirements, and it provides that a firm that is not a manufacturer may qualify as a small business on a supply contract set aside for small businesses. This is what we were just talking about, what the contracting officer needs to do right before doing a set aside. Sole source contracts is an exception to the competition. It is often justified under circumstances of unusual and compelling urgency. Uh, once a number of permitted justifications, is established. Federal government contract targeted set-asides are women-owned small business, the 8A Business Development Program, Hub Zone, and service-disabled and veteran-owned small businesses. The government's gonna Each year the government needs to set aside by law a percentage of federal contracts for each of the small disadvantaged categories listed here. Another advantage that you have as a small business in doing business with the federal government is that you're able to participate in contracting tools other than a full and open competition. So, for example, micro purchases are used for purchases under $3,500 that do not require competitive bids and are paid for by government purchase card or credit card. Simplified acquisition processes are used for purchases valued between $10,000 and $250,000. Always remember that anything valued over $25,000 by law has to be advertised in sam.gov. So this is one of the first exercises that you can start doing, today, literally, um, to do your own market research on what the government is buying on your jurisdiction. You can go in Google or YouTube and, try to look for some trainings on how to do a basic search on sam.gov because there's a ton of filters and applications. I don't want you, to go in and get overwhelmed. So once you create your account, you can start doing that search and establish, you know, based on your jurisdiction, what the government is buying, what agencies you have. Remember, there, it doesn't have to be that the agency does not have to be established at where you live, it doesn't GSA does not have to have a physical office located within, St. Croix in order for an award to be made by GSA. There's a lot of contracting offices in the United States, and from there, the contracting officers perform, you know, the acquisitions. Sealed bidding process is used when government has a need for services, supplies that is clear, specific, and complete. Contract by negotiation is used for technical products valued at $150,000 or more. This negotiation is allowed prior to award that considers more than price-related factors. So to take advantage of government contracting opportunities, you are required to have an active sam.gov account as well as your unique entity identifier number and your cage code number. To register in SAM, that's System for Award Management, go to www.sam.gov. The service is going to be free of charge. The cage code is a 5-character ID number that's used extensively within the federal government, and it's going to be assigned by DLA's, the logistic agency. This number is basically you need a cage code in order to do business with the DoD. And every time, every firm that certifies with sam.gov is going to receive a unique entity UEI. So that's going to be your identification number throughout your whole career, your whole life during the um, doing business with the government. SBA resources, you have your district local assistance, you have us, you have a procurement center representative in Puerto Rico and the USPI is Ms. Jezabel Rodriguez. You have learning platforms. We offer seminars free of charge. You can visit our website. I'm going to share that information at the end. You can participate in trainings to continue obtaining knowledge on contracting, government contracting procedures. The Apex accelerators and the SBDCs provide government contracting assistance and help businesses that are interested in starting doing business. The DSBS, Dynamic Small Business Search, is an excellent tool if you want to start identifying firms that sell similar services to the one that you offer, that you sell. So you can go into the DSBS account profile page and you can start using the filters from top to bottom, depending on how much or how less information you want to select. It's going to be, you're going to obtain a broader search result page. If you don't select that much, it's going to be, if you keep selecting, it's going to be, a more specific detailed uh, table. There is a ton of subcontracting opportunities. We also, encourage firms because we have a lot of firms that maybe are afraid, to start doing business and with the government. And if you do subcontracting, it allows you to learn a lot from the prime contractor that you're directly working with, and that at the same time you can continue, building and establishing your accounting systems, your, HR systems, and just overall obtaining knowledge on the proposal submission process. Okay, let's talk about the woman-owned small business and the ED woman-owned small business program. The Woman-Owned Small Business Program allows contracting officers to set aside contracts for WASBs that also include ED WASBs. Federal government has specified annual prime contracting goals for designated small businesses. The prime contracting goal for WASBs is 5%. So agencies can meet the 5% goal through contract awards made under the WASB program. Um, WASB certified firm is eligible for contract awards under other socioeconomic programs for small businesses. You can be certified at the same time in, any or all of the programs that we offer. Okay, so you can be a certified a hub zone firm that's also under the 80 program, and who's also a woman-owned small business, and who's also a veteran-owned small business. So you can have all of the contracting certifications running at the same time. As of December 2015, contracting officers have authority to make sole source awards to WASBs. Sole source contracts are subject to thresholds that should not exceed $6.5 million for manufacturing and $4 million for services. It's important to note that if you get certified under the Women-Owned Small Business Program, there is going to be a specific list of NAICS codes that you're going to be able to perform a contract under. It's not an open qualification for all NAICS codes for any specific contract. So basically, you need to be a, a small business concern for the primary NAICS code. You need to be at least 51% owned and controlled by one or more women who are U.S. citizens. 51% ownership must be direct and unconditional. There's no minimum amount of time for business to be operational. The firm's owner, the woman, must manage daily business operations, uh, including being the highest officer position within the business, being a full-time employee doing normal working hours, have managerial experience required to run the business, and be able to make long-term decisions for the business. In order to qualify as a economically disadvantaged WASP, the firm needs to comply with some additional requirements, some of them being the personal net worth of the firm uh, cannot exceed $850,000. This number is gonna, you can deduct from that amount your equity in your business, your equity in your primary residence, any income received from a S Corp or LLC, if invested or used to pay taxes of businesses. Um, and any funds reinvested in retirement accounts if not available until retirement age. The adjusted gross income average over the past 3 years cannot exceed $400,000, and the fair market value of all the assets cannot exceed $6.5 million. all of the programs that we're gonna see that require that the firm's owner is an economically disadvantaged individual are gonna have these requirements, the same requirements. Once you submit an application to SBA, we highly encourage applicants to check and double check the applications before they send them out, just to try to avoid, delays in the authorization and review process. But if your application is determined to be incomplete, uh, before this date, it was just closed, and move forward, and you needed to wait some months before you could reapply. So now, I think 90% of the cases, I want to say that number, an SBA representative will reach out to you if all they need is to corroborate, if the application is, you know, full incomplete, they're going to close it, If it's requesting 10 things and you submitted five, it's going to be, they're just going to close it. But if it's some small things and details and the analyst just needs to corroborate some information, they will reach out to you and request additional information or documentation just to keep the application alive and not having to close it. As a woman-owned small business firm under our program, a firm may establish a joint venture with another small business to pursue a WASB program contract. SBA will not approve this joint venture, but will recommend and provide guidance on how to prepare the agreement in order that it satisfies the requirements of the FAR, the Federal Acquisition Regulation Handbook. Uh, You're also eligible to participate in the SBA's E2G, Empower to Grow program that provides technical assistance and trainings. We recommend that you market your firm's capabilities to agencies, review agency procurement forecasts and expiring procurements, and perform market research to identify federal agencies that purchase the products and services that you sell. We discussed this a little bit ago. All right, let's talk about the 8A program. The 8A Business Development Program is designed to assist socially and economically disadvantaged owned small businesses compete in the federal government marketplace. A certified firm has the potential to receive sole source contracts without competition up to 4.5 million for goods and services and 7.5 million for manufacturing requirements. Federal government has specified annual prime contracting goals for designated small businesses. For small disadvantaged businesses, which includes this program, the number is 5%. A certified firm under the Business Development Program has a one-time, once in a lifetime, 9-year tenure. The first 4 years are going to be considered the developmental stage, and the last 5 years are considered a transitional stage. So during the first years, you can pursue and obtain uh, an unlimited amount of 8A contracts up to a $25 million threshold for a year. After that, during the developmental stage, we are required to make the firms pursue both 8A and non-8A opportunities. Continuation in the program is going to be dependent upon the firm's continuing eligibility as both socially and economically disadvantaged firm. Again, this program also provides business development support such as technical and management assistance, financial assistance, subcontracts, and prime contract opportunities. You can also pursue sole source contracts here. AIDed program offers a broad scope of assistance to firms that are at least 51% owned and controlled by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. This program helps thousands of aspiring entrepreneurs gain a foothold in government contracting. The goal of this program is to assist in graduate firms so that they will thrive in a competitive environment in the federal government. How do you know if you can participate in the AIR program? The potential business must be uh, you must be a business for at least 2 years in its primary NAICS code before applying. This will be verified by federal tax returns. The firm needs to demonstrate a potential for success in order to be admitted into the program. You need to maintain a balance between commercial business and government business. Be able to market your firm's business as many as all of the certifications that we have talked about. You need to be a small business concern under your primary NAICS code. You need to be at least 51% unconditionally and directly owned by one or more socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. So there was a recent court decision that now mandates that when a firm applies to one of these types of programs that requires social disadvantage, the firm's going to be required to provide two examples of instances within the firm's, the individual's professional career in which that individual was subjected to discrimination. So once you go into my SBA certifications, platform and you start working with your application, you're gonna see all the details there regarding that specific requirement. That was just recently put in place by SBA. For initial 8A eligibility, the net worth of the individual claiming disadvantage must be less than $250,000. And for continued 8A program eligibility, net worth must be less than $750,000. So thinking about when to apply to the program is very important so that you can make the most of the limited time and increase your chances of winning contracts. So ask yourself questions, regarding things that we have discussed in this presentation and determine that this is gonna be a once in a lifetime opportunity and be sure that you have all the requirements, that you have the capacity, the cash flow, that you can prove your past performance so that you can submit your application and get certified. This is basically a play-by-play of the all the requirements that we just talked about. All of the requirements that we mentioned for the woman-owned small business regarding uh, being a primary next small business, uh, 51% ownership, being in the day-to-day control and management of the company are also present here in this program, in the edit program. The edit program offers a broad scope of assistance to firms that are at least 51% owned and controlled by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. SBA supports small disadvantaged firms with management and technical assistance to help you compete for contracts and other business opportunities. Also, within the ADA program, you're allowed to form joint ventures in order to bid on contracts or form and participate in a mentor protege agreement. So when you think about a joint venture, think about company A joining forces with company B and forming, creating company C. And this allows for each specific firm to bring something, you know, that the other one lacks to the table. And that way, when you participate in a contract, you're both bringing to the table the whole full package, in order to win the contract. The SBA requires a business to be operating for 2 years in order to qualify for the EDIT program. There is a waiver of the 2-year rule, but the firm needs substantial and demonstrated business management experience, technical expertise to carry out its business plan, adequate capital to carry out its business plan, successful past performance on contracts, and the ability to timely obtain the requirements needed to perform contracts. If the firm has not generated revenue, you will not be able to waive the 2-year rule. Please keep that in mind. All of this, a lot of this information is very technical. If you have any questions at the end of the presentation, you're going to have my email. You can send me an email. I'll send you any information, any specific information or bullets that you need. We discussed this a little bit ago. The economically disadvantaged requirements. Personal net worth must be less than 850,000. 3-year average income, 400 or less, and the fair market value of all the assets, 6.5 million. When we think about the net worth, remember that you can exclude from that amount of 850, you can exclude the equity of your business, the equity of your primary residence, and funds reinvested in IRA or other legitimate retirement accounts. The 80 program is a business development program. 80 participants are not in any way guaranteed or entitled to receive federal contracts. It's not going to be suited for all firms, firms not yet in business or less than 2 years in business. Uh, Waiver could apply here. Too small to effectively pursue a federal prime contract, not having experience in public contracting, and may produce a service or product not purchased through prime contracts. First 4 years are going to be the developmental stage in the program, and the last years are going to be the transitional years. You're required to submit yearly documentation to prove continuing economically and socially disadvantaged status. The social disadvantage documentation is going to be submitted at the beginning of the program. You don't have you yearly. What you need to submit is evidence of that you're maintaining economically disadvantaged status, not the socially status, socially disadvantaged status. You're going to have the opportunity to receive uh, an orientation once you enter into the program. You're going to receive monthly and yearly referrals for free training opportunities, uh, invitation to matchmaking events and training events that we uh, either do or promote during the year, and surety training bonds. All right, so the veteran-owned small business. It's the veteran-owned small business program. Once you're in here, you're going to be able to compete in set-aside and sole source government contracts. This will allow you to build capacity and scale up, helping agencies also meet their veteran-owned small business and federal contracting goals. The VA sets aside at least 7% of its contracts each year for certified WASBs. I don't know if we have any veterans here today, but this is an excellent opportunity for you to get yourself into the federal contracting arena. The VetSet program, its goal is to increase SBA's federal contracting base with qualified veteran-owned small businesses and service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses owners. Eligible small businesses need to meet SBA size standards and be registered with SAM.gov, have at least 51% of the business owned and controlled by one or more veterans. Before, I think it was a year ago, the veteran-owned small business certification was managed by exclusively by the Department of Veteran Affairs. This certification process was transferred to the SBA, and this program is a top priority of the administration, and it continues to emphasize SBA's commitment to supporting the veteran community. Veteran-owned small businesses are able to compete for set-aside sole source government contracts and helping agencies meet their veteran-owned small business and SDV WASB federal contracting goals. Eligible small business gain access to SBA procurement tools, connect with commercial supply chains, and can purchase also surplus federal property and access capital. With the 8A program, there's also a government surplus program that in which you can participate. So the Hub Zone program, the purpose of the Hub Zone program, uh, another one of SBA's government contracting certifications, is to provide federal contracting assistance to qualified small firms located within Hub Zone areas, stimulate capital investment, and empower communities through economic leveraging. The Hub Zone program fuels small businesses' growth in historically underutilized business zones, with a goal of awarding at least 3% of federal contract dollars to Hub Zone certified companies each year. If you go into the SBA.gov website, you can go under the federal contracting tab and search for the Hub Zone tool map. It's literally like using Google Maps. You can go in there, put your primary firm's address, and it'll show you, it will let you know if your firm is located within a Hub Zone area. If you live in one of the USVIs, they're 100% Hub Zone. If you live in Puerto Rico, you have to do the exercise. Puerto Rico right now, I think it's 80-ish% Hub Zone. There's a lot of non-qualifying areas. Your firm's eligibility to participate in the program might be impacted if your principal office is located or your employees reside in an area no longer qualified as hub zone. Again, doesn't apply to the any USVI resident. Every 5 years, the hub zone program is required to update the hub zone designations to ensure the program continues to serve the communities that are most in need of assistance. The Hub Zone program provides federal contracting opportunities to firms certified as Hub Zone. It increases community employment opportunities, stimulates community capital investment, and empowers communities through economic leveraging. Again, you've seen some of these requirements before. The firm needs to be at least 51% unconditionally and directly owned and controlled by persons who are United States citizens. The principal office must be located within a designated hub zone area. You can perform that search using the hub zone tool map. At least 35% of your employees must reside within a hub zone area. It doesn't have to be the same area in which the primary office is located at. It can be any hub zone area. So you can have a hub zone located firm in the USVI and have, X amount of employees that reside in Puerto Rico. If they reside within a hub zone area, you can verify that information using the driver's license non-expired card. If the information matches a hub zone area, you're good to go. You're keeping the requirement good. You need to keep SBA size standards regarding the small business need to be in place. There's not a requirement for minimum time in business, and the Nike's codes requirements are not limited, as in the Women-Owned Small Business Program. During your participation in the program, there can be unannounced site visits. You must continue to meet the hub zone criteria throughout your stay in the program. Maintain SBA documentation standards and do your recertification every 3 years. Again, you're able to participate in set aside contracts just for hub zone and sole source contracts in which you can participate in direct negotiations with government contracting officers. There are increased subcontracting opportunities. You are also eligible to participate in the E2G, Empower to Grow program, and receive technical assistance free of charge. This program includes trainings in business, accounting, marketing, strategic and operational planning, financial analysis, business development, contract management, and more. So now all of the certifications are being processed in a platform called MySBA certifications. So before this program, we had different websites and programs, one for 8A, one for Hub Zone, one for Womano. Now it's going to be a one-stop shop. So the mission of the agency is to reduce unnecessary customer burden, uh, combining all of the separate small business certification systems uh, within the SBA, My SBA certifications platform. As a result of these changes, SBA estimates the time it takes a small business owner to complete an application will be reduced by 40% for a single certification and up to 70% for firms looking to participate in more than one program. Please use the external resources that we have mentioned when you're working with your application so that you um, make sure that when you submit your application, it's good and ready to go that first time. This is basically a timeline of the certification application process. Once you submit your application and you have, before we get to this stage, you need to be registered in SAM.gov, be ready to go with your unique entity identification number. You submit your application and SBA is going to go, it will assign the application to an analyst, just to make sure that you have all the documentation, all the information, everything's up to date. Um, Once the review is completed, uh, there's a director groups assigned to determine eligibility approvals or denies, and you're going to receive a letter with that decision. So that's all I have for you guys today. Before we go to the Q&A, I just before I forget, I want to share my email. It's gonna be my whole name, everything together, no spaces. Eduardo dot Velez Torres at SBA.gov.
Okay, thank you for that presentation, Eduardo. At this time, if you have a question, You can raise your hand so we can unmute your mic and you can ask directly. And if you're not comfortable coming on mic, you can go ahead and place your question in the chat so that we can get your inquiry answered. While we wait for questions, I would just like to go ahead and highlight a few of our upcoming trainings. On the 18th, we have SBA back with disaster preparation and mitigation for your business. The time to plan is now. Someone is asking for you to put your email in the chat,
Yep,
Eduardo.
I'm
So
on
he's
it.
gonna go ahead and type that for you, Amy. I'll go ahead to say that on March 25th, we have SBA Webinar Tuesday. That session is entitled The 5 C's of SBA Loan Eligibility. On April 8th, we have SBA back again. They're gonna be presented on Surety Bonding 101. Eduardo, we have someone on the call asking if you're in Puerto Rico. And he answered yes. Okay, so I'll continue to say on April 22nd, we have learned about SBA resources to help your business start, grow, and succeed. For the month of May, on the 7th, we have the credit blueprint, building a strong financial foundation. On the 9th, we have our business development series, a step-by-step guide to launching a USVI business startup. On the 14th, we have aiming for loan approval, building credit the right way. On the 15th of May, we have building sustainable habits for small business growth. On May 16th, we have the business plan canvas, designing your entrepreneurial journey. And on May 20th, we have our SBA webinar entitled How to Apply and Qualify for an SBA Loan. So we have a question. Do the notary publics qualify if it's just one person? Eduardo?
I don't quite understand the question. Is it is the is the question related to getting certified like the company, like if you're registering a company, like if it counts like a not an individual but the company, talking about a notary as the company.
And so we'll give Sophia some time to specify in terms of her question.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Sophia.
I was asking because I know when you were stating it would for qualification, it have to be like depending on the employer and how much employees they have. So I was stating with a notary public, would that qualify for the SBA contract certification because it's just one person that does the notary public.
Yeah, yes. Are you asking for the 35% employee requirement for the Hub Zone program?
No, I was asking if a notary public would qualify because it's just one person based on the fact that you are stating something that it has to certain businesses have to have more than a certain amount of employees.
Oh, I got it. I see. Yeah. So yes, that if your company, if it's just one, your notary, if the individual that you're mentioning, yes, you can apply. The 35% requirement is for the Hub Zone program. So it states that, let's say you are the owner of the of XYZ company and you have 100 employees. So 35% of those employees have to reside within a hub zone designated area. It doesn't have to be where your principal office is located at. It can be anywhere within the USVI, or if it's in Puerto Rico, or if they live in, Florida, or it doesn't matter. But the important thing is that where that employee lives is a hub zone area. But yes, if you're just if your question is aimed at if only that individual, that notary can comply with the requirement, yes, you can apply. I don't know if I answered your question. And Sophia, if I didn't answer your, yes, okay. If anyone wants to answer a question and they don't want to put it in the chat, send me an email. Oh, Wayne, awesome. Thank you. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Alrighty, so as we continue to receive questions, I just want to make mention that the VI SBDC has so much more in store for you as VI small businesses. Don't forget to visit our website at www.visbdc.org. Download the VI SBDC app on your mobile device from the appropriate app store. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google Business, and subscribe to the VI SBDC YouTube channel for new uploads of our on-demand webinars. I see persons exchanging information in the chat. So I'll take this time to highlight next week, Wednesday, where we celebrate, as proclaimed by our governor, VI SBDC Day. We will be going out into the community, the business community, to canvass and celebrate with small business owners. And we ask for you guys to go ahead and join us on this ambassadorial day to celebrate small businesses and entrepreneurship on a whole on our social media platforms. So Eduardo, I don't see any additional questions at this time. So I think it's safe to go ahead and close out. So I want to say once again, take a few minutes after this live event, check your email, and please fill out that survey that lets us know how we're doing. And on behalf of the entire VI SBDC network, we thank you for your time and attendance. And it's always a pleasure collaborating with our Puerto Rico and US VI district office on events like this. So with that being said, compliments of our State Director, John Morosco. Please enjoy the rest of your day.